right now for free. Go to VSiN.com/Champ Week to register and join VSiN, the sports betting network.
Always follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Sportsbook and the Circa Resort and Casino. Place is nearly packed today for one of the best days of the entire calendar. Great guests on the program in 30 minutes. Futures in college hoops with Stanford Steve. Soccer bets with Steve Wiss later on, and more college basketball with Bruce Marshall and Aaron Moore. And we'll get into what happened today with the odds movement, not only for the Wooden Award, but also Duke Futures when it looked ugly when Cooper Flagg went down with the injury. We'll get into that here coming up in a minute. Games that we have going on right now. North Carolina pulled out to a 10-point lead over Wake Forest. It is down to 8 right now. They play in the second half of the ACC tournament. Current in-game number here, the Tar Heels now laying 10.5. They were approximately 5.5 before the game. Total is 141.5 in that game. And New Mexico struggling early, Paulie, out here in the Mountain West. Now up by a little 9. Check that against San Jose State at halftime. You have Houston. Now that leads down to 5 against Colorado. And Xavier has been in control pretty much the entire day against Marquette. They lead by 9 right now, about 13 minutes to play in the second half.
New Mexico came out flat. They had the lead late, late in the first half. That's always typical where there's no energy in the building, and you disrespect your opponent, and it's the first game of the day. I think Colorado's going to hang and keep this one close, riding the wave on the momentum, what they've done. And Marquette, as Xavier's trying to get in the tournament, Marquette fighting back as well, but it's been a great start to the day with a near buzzer beater with an overtime game, and you saw 2 records set in the BYU-Iowa State game. Most points ever scored in regulation of a Big 12 tournament game, and they set the record for threes in a tournament game with 10 minutes left.
That was a phenomenal watch today.
Awesome. I don't think you can get a better game all week.
I don't think you can
than
either.
What you saw.
And now I got to tell you, so BYU is going to get the winner. Let's assume for a second it's going to be Houston. Are they not, again, ultra dangerous here tomorrow?
If they shoot like that, and what were they?
But that's what they do.
Yeah, 18 of 34 from 3 with a great coach, and Saunders has been great. They can go to the Final Four. They're that good. And they were phenomenal. They were up 10. They were down 10.
Yeah.
And then they made all the plays down the stretch and won a high-scoring game in a great environment.
Well, another game, too, that just finished probably within the last 20 minutes. It was the Arkansas game against Ole Miss.
Oh, boy.
And that point spread the market. They kept betting Ole Miss. I didn't see it touch 5. I saw 4.5 pretty much everywhere in that game. Maybe it did touch 5 and I missed it. But so Arkansas is getting blasted in the first half. They're down at 1 point, 42-27. They came, and there's a game of runs. They came roaring back to take a lead, and it was almost double figures. They hit them with a 33-11 run, and they looked awesome doing so. But the problem was they were down to 6 guys, and then they're up by the final minute was a complete dumpster fire. What happened? They went to the monitor. There was a timeout that lasted like 10 minutes the way it felt. It's a tie game. Then Arkansas goes up by 3, and then Ole Miss has the basketball. There's superb defense on the Razorback side. And the Ole Miss player at the last second gives it up to the guy down low. And I think the Arkansas player was coming in for it. It was it Adu? Brazil? I forget which guy it was. But he hits the Ole Miss guy going up for the shot because I think his momentum took him into the guy. And then Jay Billis on the air saying, how do you foul there? I mean, it's a good point, but anyway, it was a scrum kind of. Ole Miss then goes to the free throw line. After they made the shot, they tie it up. And then Arkansas gets fouled with 7 seconds left. The guy he misses both free throws, and Ole Miss hits a 3.
Yep, ridiculous. Brick both.
And it lands on 3.
Yep.
They think about this. They combined to shoot 38 free throws in the second half.
Oh, man.
That's a tough watch. I'm sorry.
That's a bad job by the officials. Yep. You got to let them play. I'm with you.
And then, okay,
phenomenal.
So the big news here today, obviously, was the first game of the ACC tournament, and at most sports books, a lot of them, I will say, Duke was a very popular bet. I guess why not? They were blowing all these ACC opponents out down the stretch, and laying 20-plus points was no problem with them covering these numbers. The problem is they had multiple injuries, including the guy who was a severe favorite to win the Wooden Award before today in Cooper Flagg. He goes down with the ankle. It doesn't look pretty.
What'd you think? Come on. What'd you think right away? They brought out a wheelchair, Mitch.
Well, so right before that, though, the reaction to him on the bench when they were touching the ankle, and his reaction to that immediately it's like he's screaming. I couldn't hear it because of the volume, but he puts his head in his hands like this immediately, like, when they touch the ankle. So that, to me, it's like, okay, it's pretty bad. The wheelchair gets him out of the gym. They were being ultra careful, obviously. Everything's, racing in your brain like, oh, my God, did he break the ankle? Is it a high ankle sprain? How bad is it? This is Duke head coach Jon Scheyer not that long ago telling the media about his ankle.
And Cooper, he just came down, sprained his ankle. X-rays were negative, which is great. We just have to understand there's going to be swelling and to see how he recovers and how he goes from there. But proud of this team to step up without two of our key guys.
What did you think when he first went down?
Kenyon Martin.
Of course.
Cincinnati was the best team in the country and a 1 seed, and on a Thursday afternoon in a Conference USA game in 2000, he broke his leg, I think, or did he break whatever?
Oh, yeah.
He out for the year,
yeah.
And then the committee didn't even give him a 1 seed, and they won one game and then lost.
Yep.
So that's what I thought here, where the best player or second best player, and Kenyon Martin was awesome that year, player of the year. But he gets hurt, season was over, and then when you saw the wheelchair, I was thinking the same thing about it. And then it's like, you can even give him a 1 seed. If he's out for the year. But they taped him up. He walked back to the bench, and it's no discussion. There's nothing to talk about. There's no way you play him. I don't care if he says I'm 100% and good to go. Yeah. You don't play him tomorrow, and if you win that game, you don't play him again either.
So they won by 8, never had a chance to cover the game. I will say this. They were down by 14 in the first half to Ja Tech. Ja Tech was hitting a lot of their shots. I thought the Ramblin' Wreck had a chance to be up by 20-plus because Duke, it was a brick fest from 3. I think they started 0 of 13. But Georgia Tech had a chance with other open looks and some at point-blank range to expand that lead. And they never did. Yeah. So if Duke would have lost today, they would, of course, said, well, he's going to be okay by the tournament, no problem here. I don't know. I mean, is the 1 seed in danger at that point? Because that's exactly what I thought. Kenyon Martin was 25 years ago, but that's if you're old enough to remember that, you're never going to forget what happened.
Mm-hmm. Is Brown okay? He dislocated his shoulder. He went to the hospital.
Yeah.
That's another one. I mean,
he re-dislocated.
Oh, God.
From earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Scheyer continued to tell the media, quote, to be honest with you, I would have to be convinced by everyone in the locker room when I go back that he should play. It's not worth it. It just isn't. End of quote. Yep. There shouldn't be a single human being on Duke's staff or player who says, Coach, we need to play him.
Yep. And the other thing I thought was when you saw him get taped up and walk back to the bench is he out the first week? Could he miss the first 2 games? That's another scenario.
Well,
you never know. But
I certainly think this is possible where first of all, what if it's a high ankle sprain? Don't we typically hear like 4 to 6 weeks? I know all players are different, sports are different, but man, he's going to be jumping up and down on that a lot. And so my thought was definitely not going to play again in the ACC tournament. And there's maybe a chance that he misses the first 2 games.
Yep.
And then if they're still going to be 1 overall on the seed line, who's that 8-9 game going to be against? And how much trouble are they going to be in if they put who knows, UConn, or if somehow the committee puts Gonzaga against them? Probably not going to go very well for Duke.
I know. Especially if they play like they did today, forget about it. But I know you made the good point about they showed guts to be down big and without 2 players. But the other thing is, and I think the committee got it right 25 years ago. They said we have to evaluate the current team. And when you lose your best player and the best player in college basketball, you're no longer a 1 seed.
I mean, I remember it was definitely a controversy, but they made the right move, right? I mean, you take the best player off of any team, and it comes down to a committee's opinion on where you're going to seed these teams. Yeah, that's going to have a major impact, you would think. Mm-hmm. Right, you take Broom off Auburn. What are they going to do if something were to happen to him? Or you name the player? I mean, like throwing, because I hate injuries and I hate even talking about it. But you take any great player off of one of these top teams, and you're like, yeah, maybe we should ding him a little bit here with the seed line. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do.
First, and then we got to see if Carolina can hang on. Now they've blown this 10-point lead.
Yeah,
they're only up 1. So what's that number going to be? And you might as well put it up, because he's not playing. So whoever wins this game, just put up the next line. Duke against whoever, because there's no way he's going to play.
You should just have the number made already against either one of these teams, right?
How about the finish to start the day in the St. Bonaventure game? The Old Miss game was fantastic, and the finish, you're right, make your free throws. Duquesne is catching 2. They're up 7 with 4 minutes left. 1 point the rest of the way. Bonnie's win and cover. They take on VCU.
That's absolutely brutal.
Oh, we had everything today.
That stings.
We're just getting started, right?
Yeah.
And the big upsets last night. VSiN free until Selection Sunday. Sign up today. VSiN.com/championship week. Full VSiN Pro access. Every best bet, every host, every guest. Immediately when you wake up, you got Peterson's picks. You got Applebaum with the betting splits. Adam Burke has his plays. And Makinen with the trends. Free preview. 24/7 video access. Sign up now. Free access through March 16th. VSiN.com/championship week. And that means everything. And Nigel's got his soccer plays up there. You got Wes with the golf and Mr. Cohen on the NBA.
Wake just took a 1-point lead now. So they hit the Tar Heels with a big run here to begin this second half. Well, now that we're about midway through it anyway. And here comes Marquette. By the way, the money line on that game at DraftKings, they just dropped. They're down by 3. 7:24 to play in the game. They just dropped from plus 154 in Marquette to plus 124. So they must be going to the free throw line or something like that. A lot of action. Today is so good. Tomorrow.
Houston messing around, only up 5 at the half.
I know it. I'm telling you, BYU is going to be, that's not going to be a fun game for Houston to play tomorrow. If they win this game, I'm assuming they do against Colorado. But we will get to the games tipping off in the next window and later on tonight. Today's so good it should be a national holiday. It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Are stirring, and we're ready to strike on VSiN's Sharp Week. Starting Selection Sunday, VSiN will be your captain for March Mania, helping you navigate the madness and land that big bet. Join us as we break down the brackets and provide expert analysis on every game, delivering insights only VSiN can offer. We've stocked the ship with our March Mania betting guide, giving you everything you need to chart a winning course through the biggest betting tournament of the year. Dive head first into the free VSiN March Bracket Challenge. Sink or swim for a chance to win up to $5,000 by picking team sides or totals. We're doing it all. Special coverage throughout the tournament, best bets from hosts and handicappers, and a chance for you to win big. Set sail with VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe to join us for just $9.99 for the first 30 days. And don't miss Sharp Week, where you're going to need a bigger bet. That's VSIN.com/subscribe.
On the next, a numbers game, Steve Fezzik joins us. Felica and Fezzik, hour number 2, our Friday staples, talking all things sports betting, multiple topics, anything that's on Steve's mind. Chris with all his bets, Jason Weingarten with all of his, Paul Carr on the Premier League, and Mike Renner to talk NFL draft with us. How about that for a Friday? And of course, a whole heaping helping of college basketball. It's a numbers game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Unlock everything VSiN has to offer right now for free. Go to VSiN.com/champweek to register and join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Here comes Marquette. They have the Xavier lead now down to 1. 6:40 to play second half. At DraftKings, Xavier minus 1.5 now with the point spread. Money line Marquette is even money. They came back to take the lead at one point, Marquette did?
Yeah, wild swings in this game. Yep.
And there's a 3-pointer by Xavier to go up by 4.
Okay.
So, sorry.
No.
I know that you like San Diego State tonight.
I don't like them. I love them.
The market disagrees.
I know. It keeps going up.
How about that?
Isn't this something? Yep. Before I do that, updated bracketology, Joe Lenardi going into today. Last 4 in. San Diego State, Xavier, Indiana, who lost, North Carolina, who last check was losing. First 4 out. Texas playing right now. Ohio State, bye-bye, lost last night. Great job by Iowa. Boise and Colorado State. Oh. So this is a tournament game coming up. And I think the wrong team is favored. And it was easy in the first 2 meetings what the Aztecs did to Boise. 64-47 and won by 8 on the road. And a good write-up from Adam Burke today on a website. Boise was horrific away from home. And they struggle shooting the 3. And you factor it all in that Aztecs always travel. It's a short trip. They've always done well in this tournament. But this is awesome. I'm not saying they're dead. But if the Aztecs lose, they're pretty much you're going to be bit thieves, right? Because your last 4 in right now, right? So it doesn't look good. And then Boise might have to win 2 games. But then again, some of these other teams can lose. But this is as close as you're going to get to a tournament game right now, coming up at 2:30. This is awesome, and the winner's going to get New Mexico, who's up 15. I just think it's just a horrible matchup for Boise, and the numbers don't lie about they were bottom 10 in the country with their home-road splits, and they were great at home, just a completely different team away from home with some bad performances. So 64-47, 76-68. Matt's right. It wasn't even that close in the first game, that they the game in San Diego when they beat them by 17. So there are 2s out there now. I can't believe it.
2.5.
2.5. Thank you.
There you go. Okay. So any thoughts on the total? By the way, 134.5.
No.
Like typically,
I can see it being ugly, but
so can I.
But again, they got the fouling scenario at the end.
You're
never safe with an under here.
Have you noticed this, by the way?
Yeah.
So many of these teams, again, fouling down by like almost double digits. Games that are going to overtime or double overtime. We've had how many more overtime games again today? The MAC game that just finished, right? Toledo beat Ohio 90-85 in overtime. That you had to go to overtime to get that total to go over. Uh-huh. And it was a super high total, but they both scored a ton of points in overtime, so it got there.
Well, the fouling is out of control, but it also is starting early. So when you're down big, it's starting with 90 seconds left, and it won't stop.
Marquette with a 3-point lead. They're now minus 330 to win the game. Holy smokes, it flipped.
Yeah. And Xavier's going to be out with a loss. They would be 1-11 in quad ones. So, no opinion on the total just because of the fouling shenanigans and the scramble points at the end.
Okay, what else are you hot and heavy on later on today? Because this Iowa-Illinois game is interesting to me. The total, Paulie, is 166.5.
I was wrong. There's something here. They've been great the last couple games. It's been a dialed down, no gyrations and no shenanigans and theatrics by McCaffrey. He was calm, cool, and collected yesterday. They made all the plays down the stretch, so that's now back-to-back big wins as dogs against Nebraska. And then what they did yesterday, taking out Ohio State, who needed it, I think it's too many points. I'll just take this free-flowing, nothing to lose Iowa team. I'm not saying they're going to win, but to catch double digits here, I like Iowa. And they play great basketball, fun basketball with the track meet, and you see a total of 165.5. Like Iowa plus the points. And certainly earlier in this tournament, the comments are hilarious on X about Indiana fans. Well, is it a bad loss? Because we were playing a good team, some said. Because then others are saying it's embarrassing. You can't lose to a Pac-12 opponent. Okay, compare programs. Your program's been down for how long? These guys deliver every March and make deep runs, and they're probably going to be a 5 seed.
Yeah, right.
So it's hilarious. Indiana fans, this is an embarrassing loss, whatever. In any event, Indiana was blown out.
I was going to say,
so that'll do it for Indiana. Oregon was great today.
Yeah, the Hoosiers are not in, right?
Oh, no, come on.
How can you put them in?
No.
I can't.
No way.
I can't see that happening.
Nope.
I'll tell you what. Carolina, by the way, they're up by 1. If they don't win this game,
they can't put them in.
I'm telling you, you can't do it.
No.
Their resume is just too weak.
Yep. I like the Matadors. I took Cal State Northridge, lane 4 against Santa Barbara. They just played. They spanked them. They hung tough against San Diego. They beat Irvine. So I will take Northridge in that one. I'd like Oklahoma plus the points. They were great last night.
Spread.
I'm going to come back. They shot the ball well. They're now in the tournament with nothing to lose. They can sleep well. I took Oklahoma in the late game, and there was another. Was it Marist? I think. Yeah, Marist is playing Mount St. Mary's. This is a short number. Nope, that wasn't it. I forgot the game. Somebody just played and they won by 30. I wrote it down. I'll check in a second. But that's what I played earlier today. And then everything else, I'm going to just wait in play while we're on the show here and try to find some winners and do what we did yesterday with Texas. Yeah, where it just looked like it was going their way the whole way and they were in total control.
Yeah, and Texas right now, by the way, I pondered a bet on Texas today plus the points against Texas A&M. I never pulled the trigger. About 9 minutes to play in the first half. They are tied with Texas A&M. So I think they still might be worth a bet catching. Let's see what the live number on that might be. Probably about 4.5 maybe in that spot, around that territory anyway. I did play the Oklahoma-Kentucky game over as well at 161. I know it opened up at some spots 159.5. I did not have access to that outside of Nevada. But I still think 161 is a good number. Oklahoma and Kentucky, when they played not that long ago, super high scoring game, went over this number, and it was a back and forth track meet. And that's how Kentucky plays. It's going to be on the neutral court there in Nashville. And the Big Blue Nation, they travel as well as any fan base in the country. So they're going to be, and that's how Pope coaches. So the tempo is going to be there in this game. I think Oklahoma's going to play with them just like that. And I think I can bank on Kentucky. Their defense is not that good, but they're excellent on offense, and the shots I think are going to be going in anyway. So I played it over 161. Also thinking about betting over 77 for the first half, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Played 3.5 with Northridge. In the other game, it was Cal Baptist. They just played and they beat their opponent by 20, and they're laying 6.5 tonight. Tarleton State.
Okay.
So that was the other one. Again, I think tomorrow's better, but it's the second best day of the year. And there's Colorado State opened 3.5 when we were on the air yesterday. That's up to 5.5 in a game they have to have against Nevada at 6 o'clock Pacific. In the late game, Utah State may have been handed a gift here. Playing UNLV on their home floor. UNLV has some injuries. It's up to 8.5. Because if they lost this game, they were out. And they lost the first meeting here in Las Vegas. So big break for Utah State.
What's crazy is about the UNLV game yesterday, it looked for the first half like they might lose the game outright as huge favorites, and then they almost came back and covered.
Yep. Like McNeese.
That's right.
Again, what happened there? I was going nuts on the way home. Lamar's fouling down 12 with 30 seconds. Thinking 14 and 13. It's like, guys, it's over. Come on.
I'll give you another game today. The total, about 149.5. It's USC and Purdue.
Yes.
I ended up playing the USC-Rutgers game over last night. It had no business winning.
Another one,
Went to double overtime, so I cashed my ticket. So that should have been a loser for me. But what about USC and Purdue going over yet again today? Most projections that I'm looking at, they have this game in the 150s, so that would go over the number on this game. But also, this is one of those where I think we're going to get the tempo. USC has been great to the over anyway this entire year. I think this can turn into a foul fest.
Yep.
I think this is like Exhibit A of the games that we have coming up where either side, they don't want to lose, and if they're down by whatever the spread might be, they're going to send the other team to the free throw line a lot.
I'm with you. Yep. I can see it. Peterson makes it 143, though. I was surprised by that.
Oh, you made it that low, huh?
Yes, he did.
Everybody else has it going over.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Baylor and Texas Tech might be awesome. And that's coming up a little bit later on.
Okay, so again, Baylor's 1-10 against quad ones. Lost the first meeting by 14, but were great against Kansas State.
They played a fantastic game yesterday.
What do you think? Too many points?
I would lean towards taking the 6.
Yeah, okay.
Texas Tech is awesome. We all know this. But
1-10 quad one scares me off it, though. Can't do it.
Where are they currently? Are they like a 10?
Yes.
Right around there?
Look right now. I think it was last check. It was a 10.
All right. So they're in the tournament comfortably.
Yeah, they were last 4 buys. Georgia 9. Come on. I'll find. He's got him a 9. He's got him a 9 playing Marquette. Winner gets Auburn.
Another game, too, later on. I'm not going to have an opinion on this game before it tips. This might be a terrific game to get involved in play. It's Kansas and Arizona.
Oh, that was ugly last night.
Oh, my God, Paul.
UCF had him.
They had him dead to rights.
They had him. Another great game.
But that's how Kansas plays. And if Self keeps going to AJ Storr, they're going to be playing in higher scoring games. The kid is electric on offense, not good at all on defense. No, not at all. So that's where I think this game, the fluctuation of this game, I don't think either team is going to be safe here with a 10-point lead at all. And so that's how I can't wait to watch the game. I think it could be a lot of fun, but I'm going to do that one definitely with the in-play.
Good angle, because there's been so many teams back and forth, 10-point leads, gone, just vanished just like that. The Iowa State game, you turn your head, wait a second, BYU was just up 10, now
so
it's tied.
Good. Stanford Steve on the program coming up next from ESPN. We'll get a couple of best bets from him and also futures here that we have this week next on Follow the Money.
VSiN is offering a free pro preview during championship week. Get everything VSiN has to offer, including daily pro picks straight to your inbox, betting splits from both Circa Sports and DraftKings Sportsbook, and access to the VSiN Watch app to take VSiN with you wherever you go. Register now for free to unlock VSiN from March 6th through the 16th at VSiN.com/Champ Week and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Unlock everything VSiN has to offer right now for free. Go to VSiN.com/Champ Week to register and join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Heavy with the hoops. We go out to the progressive guest line here. Stanford Steve joins the program from ESPN. He called it in the break, top 3 day of the year. I could not agree more. Steve, thanks for the time today. You are currently sweating out a Marquette future ticket to win their conference tournament, and the way it looks, they just took a 4-point lead with like 18 seconds left.
Well, that's good news, because
Yes,
it did not look good in the first half. Down 13. But that's why I took them, guys. The style they play, if their outside shots come, Cam Jones is a baller. They know he's their guy. I just love their identity. I always like Shaka teams when it comes this time of year because you know you're going to get the energy. And the thing that's been surprising in that tournament, I know a bunch of guys going to that tournament for a bunch of our lives was unders, first half unders, all that. Mm-hmm. So people have been scoring in the Big East, and I always say it's about the whistle in that conference. But the top tier of that conference is good. The bottom, thank God we got rid of a bunch of them because that's a bad bottom of a conference.
Hey, the Johnny's awesome again today. Awesome.
Oh,
what's their ceiling in your opinion?
Man. Oh, championship. No doubt. They're on the list. The way they wear you down, man. Patino was great. We had him on the show with Scott the other night. Said he doesn't go to bed until he watches our show. That made me feel good. But the way he gets things out of guys and the waves that they come at you, I know outside shooting everybody's going to talk about, but they seem pretty fine there. They got two options with the player there, Lewis and Kadari. Those are go-to guys. And the way they rebound, I mean, they just get after you. Tomorrow, whoever they face, 6:30 MSG Friday night with probably UConn to foul. That place will be rocking as good as any building we have all week.
Yep. How much do you miss the Pac-12?
I'm usually out there today, guys.
I know you are.
I usually would come out for the Pac-12. I even liked it better in the old MGM when it was only about 6,000 people. God, that was fun.
That was great.
Those were the days, place a ticket and walk down the hall and go to MGM Garden like that. There was nothing better than sitting there with those games and being able to walk down the hall and get your action. So, it's RIP Pac-12. This is the first year not seeing it. So
yep.
it brings back some good memories, though, Paulie.
Walk me through the Big Ten then. And you were high on Maryland. A lot of people are picking Maryland here. But what do you think now today and the rest of the tournament with a future or a side in the Big Ten tournament?
I took Oregon on the top at 28-1, and I grabbed Maryland when it first came out at 5. They went down to like 350. Mm-hmm. I always usually just take some shots on the top of the bottom of a bracket. I really like Maryland's draw. That's why I jumped on it. I thought they should be the favorite. I've said, for months, their best is the best in that conference. Now, they haven't had a lot of success in this conference. I think they've only made the semis once since coming to the Big Ten. But, again, the draw, who they get, I think is fantastic. Michigan's on the bottom there. And interested in Purdue, them getting the extra game. I think the world of Painter as a coach. So that could be a matchup we see. But Illinois doesn't scare me. They don't really like to they're not interested in playing defense. And I think Iowa's live.
Yeah.
Houston currently leads Colorado by 9, about 4 minutes into the second half. Assuming the Cougs hang on here in advance to get BYU tomorrow, are you on board 100% with the other Cougars here with BYU, not only in this tournament, but beyond that?
Yeah, it's why I get so mad at myself, guys, betting before the bracket comes out. The week before the last Saturday, I think it was Thursday or Friday, they were plus 750 to win the conference because they were going to be on the bottom, but everybody lost at the top in the last weekend, and they end up being the 4 instead of the 5 or the 6. So their odds went up. They were 11-1 before the conference. So I already had my action. I didn't want to double down knowing what Houston is, but I thought the game of the year was the overtime game in Ames, and then today topped it, man. Yep. I mean, what Jones did in the first half was incredible. He couldn't miss. And then BYU withstands that.
Yep.
And, they're trucking along, and then, boom, 8-point deficit goes away in about a minute and a half. And They got multiple shot makers, man, and their size and their athleticism and the pro stuff that he runs.
There you go.
From an isolation standpoint. My issue is if they go and win this tournament, they're going to be so trendy.
Oh, yeah.
For the NCAA tournament. That's going to scare me.
They set a tournament record for made threes with 10 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
At one point, I thought it was 185 was the live. I was checking that in the first half. But, like, guys, you're watching all the – look at that game today and look at what we watched with Gonzaga and St. Mary's. It's like a different – like a level.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know both teams, St. Mary's and Gonzaga are as familiar with each other as anybody. But just to see the ball go in the basket, it's such an awesome thing. And that's what makes these tournaments great, man. You get a couple hot runs, and sure enough, the momentum gets cooking, and you're on your way.
Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Stanford Steve from ESPN, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. How worried should Duke fans / future bettors be after the Cooper Flagg injury today?
I'm a Duke fan, and I don't. It's scary because everybody's gonna talk about Flagg, but the real key was Malik coming back. And then it sounds like he's had a dislocation before or a separation, and then he's got to go to the hospital to probably get it reset again. I don't think he's coming back, and he was the difference maker because you got Malawach on there, and then when Malik would come in, he just got his hands on everything. You saw what he did against Carolina in his first game back on Saturday, makes 2 big threes, and they're off and running there. I got Carolina live at 30-1 to win the ACC. They obviously got to win this game against Wake, but I feel good about that draw, and I would bet Duke not to go to the Sweet 16 when the bracket comes out. I don't think if he can't play, if Flagg can't play, and that's going to be a quick turnaround. I think it's a brutal spot to be in, and I heard you guys talking about Kenyon when that happened years back. We all remember that one, but I think it's a dicey thing because they don't have any guys that could go by anybody. And that's an issue in the tournament.
Well, it sounds like he'll be okay, but you're telling me Brown could be done for the year?
I would think so. The way they brought him back, he already was wearing the harness.
Oh.
I've had some shoulder issues, Paulie. Like
okay.
If you can't football, you put the harness on, and you put the hand up to catch a ball or something, or you're not going to catch any passes. Basketball's a whole nother deal. And then to see how easily he hurt it on a reach-in, That's what was dicey. So that didn't look good at all to me for his future. And it sucks. He's had such a good year, and he's been so integral in what they've done and how they come at those waves defensively against you that it's just super unfortunate.
Okay. Do you have any action on games that are about to tip off or later on tonight?
I took Colorado State, UConn, and Clemson moneyline parlay.
What's that pay?
I think I got over 200.
Okay. This Colorado State team is the real deal.
Yeah, but the UConn, that was what I got last night. UConn was only 3.5 when it opened last night.
Mm-hmm.
The thing's like 6.5, 7
yes, you're
now,
right.
isn't it?
That's trendy.
Yeah.
That's popular.
Yeah.
How concerned are you with the coach?
That's one good benefit of staying up to watch Montana last night.
That was good. How was
a
that
good game? That was a really good
crazy.
game.
Great game.
Yes, it was.
That team's dangerous. Watch out for them. They got some shot makers.
They do. How concerned are you with coaches who could be out the door, though, and have their eyes on another job?
I think they're locked in. They know. Agents taking care of it. It's like you, Paulie, dealing with these distractions. They're all good. They're locked in. You're locked in here 4 to 7. You don't have any distractions.
Okay.
Paulie has no distractions in Las Vegas. What are you talking
I know
about?
You got a Thursday and Friday night reservation somewhere, probably 7:05. Barry's.
Get the Oreo cheesecake, baby. Don't forget about it. Did Minnesota fire their coach at 2 a.m?
That's what I sound like. I read this morning, Matt Norlander, who does a great job for CBS, posted it, and I would have never saw it, but he took the tweet, and he's like, on one of the best days of the year at 2:19 in the morning, they sent out a release and said they're going in another direction with their head coach. That's brutal.
Oh. Is that
brutal.
A good gig?
Man.
Like, will they get a good head coach?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good. That's a Big Ten job, man. That's a really good job.
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay.
It's a good fan base. They love it. But, since Clem Haskins, there hasn't been
No, I know.
a lot.
Well, you got to go back to the cheating days like that then.
Yeah.
Big time, right?
Yeah.
Any updated futures to win these conference tournaments, Steve?
What do we have? I have Colorado State, so we need a good showing out of them. And I took Kansas just because of the spot at 13-1. I didn't love what I saw last night. They were lucky to win that game. But the spot was 13-1. I got it. And they just beat Arizona Saturday. So that's a KU building tonight. They're going to need everything. So I took that as a flyer on the bottom of the Big 12 bracket.
Okay, I think that game is going to be wildly entertaining tonight and maybe a really good game for in-play. I was saying this earlier because I like early on, I don't trust either one of those teams with a 10, 12-point lead.
No.
Oh.
Nope.
All right, buddy.
You know Arizona guards will defend, though. That's the one thing I feel
good catching up. So. Best of luck tonight and beyond,
all right, my guys. Great weekend. Appreciate you having me.
One of the best. There you go. Stanford Steve, Scott Van Pelt podcast as well. Join us on the Progressive Guest Line.
Hope he got plus 450 on Colorado State because that bracket's certainly doable because they just punked Utah State, and that's who they're going to be. Semifinal matchup could be.
Win some, lose some is up next, and we will continue to update the betting numbers that we have for games going on Championship Week here on VSiN.
Don't start betting the baseball season without it. VSiN's Baseball Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. Inside, you'll get everything from tips on how to bet baseball to expert analysis on awards races, futures markets, and a full stats glossary that will help you sharpen your edge. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up to become a pro subscriber to get this exclusive betting guide, as well as access to everything you need to become part of the Sports Betting Network. Unlock everything VSiN has to offer right now for free. Go to VSiN.com/champweek to register and join VSiN, the sports betting network. Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Iowa money line 2-1. Grambling State, the 8 seed in the SWAC, upset the 1 seed, plus 230. Colorado, plus 250. And DePaul, plus 175. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you right on the air. This is great. Sent in from a viewer. A dog snuck into a concert, and at the end of the concert, the performer, they let the fireworks go. She stopped the fireworks, so didn't want to freak out the dog. Look at this. And she's talking to him in the front row. I mean, he just must have snuck in. He's sitting there beyond the gate. And he's in the front row, and she says, no more. Suspend the fireworks. I don't want to freak the dog out.
Just a stray dog?
I guess. Yeah.
Wanders in on his own.
He's watching the concert, just hanging out.
Yeah. The voice of an angel.
Yeah. A+ all the way around. I can't believe it.
Good recognition on her. She put on a show in front of who knows how many people. Wow, okay.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? I don't want to freak you out with the fireworks. No fireworks. That is excellent. Lose some. Hawks over. Shenanigans with Trae Young, who would play. And Trae, what did he have? 21 of 21 from the free throw line.
Yeah. I think
35
I saw
and 10.
6th player ever to shoot at least 20 free throws in a game and make all of them.
Okay. 227.5 up to 241. Fell 233. Wow. Heat plus 2 to -1. Told you to be careful. Clippers on a back-to-back didn't matter. Miami's awful since they were playing bad with Butler at the end anyways. Grizzlies over, 238.5 up to 248. No good. Baylor over against K-State, 131.5 up to 139. Couple lose some. Let's go to spring training with the Reds. Thanks to the viewer who sent this in. Oh, sure, make yourself comfortable. Okay. I guess the one saving grace is there's no one around her. Lady's got, at the ball game, barefoot, socks off, shoes off, everything, and putting her feet up, and it just...
Oh, by the way, could you spread your legs a little bit farther apart, too?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
necessary.
Act like a lady. I want a lady...
Show some decency around here.
I want a lady in a street and a freak in a bed. Oh, my God. Come on, lady.
She's a freak at the ballpark.
I got that. I know. Come on. You're not at home. Can't do that. It's ridiculous. All right. Is this the dog that... Okay, look at this. This guy's not even running. They're doing a drill here where you're going through with the triathlon and going through the gates. And then look at this guy.
You have to wait till the fourth dog here.
Right, the fourth dog.
First of all, these dogs are all blazing fast.
Right.
Wait till you see this one now.
Is it a French bulldog, too? He comes in, jumps.
They can't jump that far. No,
okay.
He's got much longer legs.
Jumps and lands.
That's it.
Jumps and then takes off again.
Look at that.
Lands and goes again. No running. Wow. Touches the back, same thing. Rinse and repeat. Jump, land, jump, land, jump. No running involved. Incredible. Thanks to people who sent that in. And again, we just touched on it with Steve. Like, you fire your coach, Minnesota, at 2 a.m? What? On what people think is the best day of the year?
Look at that jump.
Is what? Yeah.
Oh, he gets right by.
He
Look
did,
at that.
God, that's wild.
Is that at least 10 feet?
Could be,
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good call. Absolutely. Bad for the books. Sixers over. 213.5 up to 223. No good. OKC Boston under. 233.5 down to 228.5. Fell 230. Wild explosion late, but Thunder in control, but then the fouling and
also, like
great job.
The first half and around halftime, the in-play was in the 240s.
Yes, it was.
The whole time because the first half had so many points scored.
Yep. Jazz from 14.5 down to 10.5. They got the money. And Notre Dame, North Carolina total 149 down to 145, and North Carolina 7.5 up to 10.5. I mentioned the beat to start off the day, Duquesne +2. They were up 7 with 4 minutes left against the Bonnies. They scored 1 point the rest of the way, and you mentioned it. You had it, USC Rutgers under. You had the over. You needed double overtime to get it as well. And then you just had a vicious beat. Marquette was laying 2.5, 3. They're up 5. Xavier banked in a half-court shot at the buzzer. It fell 2.
Now, consider that Xavier led pretty much the entire game. But then Marquette comes back. They hit their free throws to go up by 5. And the reaction here, by the way, in the book, there are hundreds of people. It's almost full right now. And it's only 1:50 Pacific time here on Thursday. But you could just see tons of people in there like, oh, my. Yeah.
Hang with us. The owner's cabana, Circa Stadium swim, shots, blackjack, bets, your own server, your own bathroom. It holds 20 people. And you pick the date. The madness. Start of the NFL season, playoffs, World Series, Masters. VSiN Beyond the Booth, first come, first serve, dates limited. VSiN.com/Beyond the Booth. Reserve your day today. Mitch was looking yesterday. There's a strip property. You get a table set up, a tabletop for a couple people for a session, not the whole day, a session. What is it?
$1,200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get a cabana.
Come out here.
Hang out with the weather and get a group of people and plan it. $1,200 for 4 hours, and you get a tabletop. Come on.
Tip of the cap to Johnny Avello and his team over at DraftKings. They have numbers up on all these games for tomorrow already.
Hey, Mitch.
Oh, it's posted.
Oh,
Marquette St. John's.
Okay, so they just played. Marquette was 2.5. Should have won. Lost. Johnnies have not lost at the Garden. Johnny's 3.
Johnny's 3.5.
Hey, okay.
139.5 is the total.
What a game. He's too good in that building.
You don't want to lay 3.5, though, right? If you made it 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see they're selling confetti that dropped when they clinched. You can get it.
It's kind of a reach, I would say.
Yeah, the confetti that hit the floor.
Okay, so Oregon, Michigan State in the Big Ten championship. That number's up. Do you want to guess again, or should I just give it to you?
Give me it again.
Michigan State against Oregon.
Oregon, likely 5 seed, number 2 in quad 1 wins. Oh, boy, 4.
Sparty's 5.5.
What?
Yeah, I think Oregon might be worth a bet myself. 5.5 seems a little bit high. Ole Miss, Auburn. Tigers are 10.5.
Okay, I saw that one.
154.5. I really wanted Arkansas to win that game today. I did take a piece of them at 250-1 to win the tournament. I wanted them to win because I think they would have gotten their door. They're down like 6 guys.
Yep, sure.
Avicic didn't even play in the second half today.
Hold on. Is North Carolina going to hang on here? Okay. Wow. Oh, not only hang on, they could cover now. Woo. They were up. They were losing when we went to break. Carolina's up 6 with 1:48. Sorry, I had to get that.
It has been several minutes since Wake Forest scored, and they just did.
All right. So
now down to 4.
All right. Carolina's got the ball up 4. Okay, continue.
And so this is the perils here of trying to get live bets in, also doing the show live here and talking live on the air. I went to grab Texas 3.5.
Yeah, right. What would
I waited for too long. They got out to an 8-point lead.
I just took 5 second half. They're up 6 at the half. I took Texas second half. They're going to win this game.
Yeah, I think so too.
They got them in the muck. It's ugly, and that's how they want it.
They are minus 140 the way it looks at DK to win it outright.
Yep.
They got talent. That freshman, Johnson, is... I can tell you, he's outstanding.
Did you see the Wisconsin line?
I do. I have that right in front of me.
Wisconsin against UCLA. Wisconsin 1.5 and 140.
Now,
I'll take the Badgers.
I think I might too. I watched that game. They played at Pauley Pavilion. It was an awesome game. That was played in the 80s on UCLA's home turf, for what it's worth. That's not how Mick Cronin likes to play basketball games. Hence the total being around 140 in that game. But Wisconsin is obviously an elite basketball team on offense, and if they're hitting their shots, I don't know if UCLA will keep up with them in this game.
Mm-hmm.
They did the first time around, but there were a lot of fouls. They hit their free throws in that spot late.
Well, plus it's North Carolina. It's UCLA out of the Pacific time zone. Yep.
Well, yeah, there you go. Okay, so
Carolina up 6.
Yeah, this is we're going to turn this into our version of the bad beat red zone. Because there's 90 seconds left, and they're laying 5.5.
Something going to happen.
This would take a minute. Yeah, so it might not even be done by the top of the hour. Who knows?
Yep. New Mexico's opened up a 12-point lead now over the Spartans.
Okay.
So they'll get the winner of San Diego State Boise, which is I can't wait for that game coming up. Oh, Boise 2.5. That's crazy.
That game tips off in about 30 minutes after that game.
Yep. Love the Aztecs. Love them. And 3:30. I'm looking forward to Iowa and Illinois, which will be a track meet.
Yeah.
Too many points, right?
That, and also, man, first of all, in any Iowa game, my first inclination is to look at the over, but obviously that's been baked in for several years. They made it 166 in that neighborhood. Even some of the projection sites have it going over. They have it being played in the 170s. I don't know if I can bet over 166, though. All you need is a 3-minute dry spell.
Yep.
And shots aren't going in, and you're looking dead to rights then at that point.
The A-10 games are out 2.25. VCU's 10.5 against the Bonnies. Loyola Chicago was 1 against St. Louis.
Okay.
VCU should go to the... Now, they lost against Dayton, which probably keeps them out of the tournament now from an at-large standpoint, but their point guard was out. VCU should be in the championship game. You take out St. Bonnie's, 10-point favorite. You should have no problem with St. Louis Loyola winner. You've been awesome for 2.5 months.
Right.
Act like it now.
Oh, there you go. Well said. Follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Steve Wiss on the program coming up next. We'll get into soccer bets for the weekend. And something happened in Champions League he's never witnessed before. Controversy! And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my